In this episode of the Glamping Americas podcast, we tackle a critical question for every unique hospitality accommodation and glamping business. How can your glamping business get found online? And how can you jump ahead of your growing competition? More specifically, is a website truly essential for getting bookings? Do you have a website for your business already? Or maybe you have and you're wondering whether it's really worth the effort keeping it up to date. Maybe you don't actually have one and you're thinking of putting some of your valuable budget towards it. But is that the right approach? Today, we're diving into this hot topic and exploring if a hospitality business really needs a website to get bookings. I'm going to break down some of the arguments and provide some insights that actually might surprise you. From boosting direct bookings and building brand credibility to mastering SEO and leveraging Google AI for maximum visibility. We're going to learn how a well-crafted website can set you apart from your competitors, enhance customer engagement and provide invaluable insights through data and analytics. This is a must-listen for anyone in the unique vacation rental and glamping industries looking to thrive in the digital age. So tune in and discover how to transform your online strategy into a powerhouse for success. So let's get started. Welcome to the Glamping Americas Podcast, the place for inspiration about the business of upscale camping, glamping and luxury outdoor guest accommodations. I'm Sarah Riley from the Glamping Academy and I'm working with my friends at the Glamping Show Americas to share everything you need to know about new trends, events, business models and investment potential in the rapidly growing world of luxury camping that delivers an experience. Interest in this industry is exploding, so if you want to be the first to find out what's hot and what's not, subscribe here and check out the show notes for more exciting news and links. And be sure to add the next Glamping Show Americas to your calendar for the 1st and 2nd of October 2024 near Denver, Colorado. I can't wait. In this episode of the Glamping Americas podcast, we're going to tackle a critical question for every unique hospitality accommodation and glamping business. So is a website truly essential for getting your bookings? You'd be surprised how many people I come across in everyday life that they just don't have a website. So do you have a website? Maybe you do and you're wondering if it's really worth putting all that money and time and energy into it. So today we're going to dive into it. We're going to see exactly what it is you need to be doing. But first off, let's address the elephant in the room. In today's digital age, having an online presence seems the most mandatory for any business, especially in hospitality, especially as the competition is growing. But there have been many times when I've searched for a website linked to a glamping business, but I've found absolutely nothing. In fact, when I've looked even more deeply into it, there only seems to be a social media page available for people to either get in touch with the business or make a booking. Many of these businesses are doing well. In fact, many of them have been around for a while, and I often hear it's how we've always done it. Many are small businesses or family-run businesses, so maybe they've got their kids in the background who've set up a few things and parents who are actually doing the running of the business, but they haven't invested any funds into increasing their online presence. So when you start to calculate the cost of running a website and the fact that someone has to manage how it's updated, especially when the host never set their business up to be managing websites and booking systems on a computer. Yep, they wanted to be serving the guests. They did not want to be doing all this online stuff. So you have to ask yourself the question, do you really need a website to secure your bookings and make sure that people can find your business? So let's explore this from multiple angles. Firstly, what about the alternative platforms to a website? So you can get your bookings onto a social media channel and manage it from there. There's no doubt. I've seen this many times, and this is often through Facebook. I've seen so many businesses have success with this. So they often spend a lot of time on multiple social media channels, think they're maybe getting the most impact from Instagram or maybe TikTok. But actually, in my line of work, I've got the privilege of looking behind some of the industry's businesses' websites. So I see what's actually going on behind the scenes. I see exactly where the business is getting their traffic from. And it's really interesting to see what actually makes it tick and where they're getting their paying customers from. in most cases, the social media channels they think they're having the most success with aren't actually the ones that are really working. So let's say a business is using a social media channel to showcase what they do and collect most of their bookings. You can even take payment through the channel and run ads, chat with customers. You know, what's not to love? It's just one platform. That's all you need to worry about. That's all you need to manage. And when there's not many of you working in your business, actually limiting how much online work you have to do can be a bit of a relief, let's face it. So when we think about what's happened recently with TikTok in the USA, we can get a few clues to what might go wrong if the worst happens. Let's say you have your business on social media and you don't bother with a website. What happens if TikTok suddenly is closed down by the government? Yeah, this is actually really happening. They've got about a year to find a US buyer to TikTok. Otherwise, it's going to be removed from the US. So pretty much you've built your business on land that you don't own. And you don't have a rental agreement either. In fact, there's no agreement at all. The landlord can take away your permissions to be there at any time. And I don't know about you, but that's a scary way to run a business. I don't think I could cope with that level of not knowing what might happen tomorrow. I would always want to own my own real estate online, my online assets. They are my shop window, the place I can advertise what I do to potential customers. In fact, from my perspective, a glamping business or eco-resort needs to put effort into designing their store window, making it look pretty, and advertising irresistible offers. That's where the customer will find them. And then, of course, because they're so irresistible, they won't be able to refuse them. But it's not so easy to do if you don't have control over your store window. So as well as TikTok potentially disappearing from the USA if they don't find the buyer, there are other things to think about. So at the moment, the social media playing field is becoming a pay-to-play arena. You may or may not have heard of this, but you will soon. So when I launched my own business in 2010, I was able to share information and inspirations on Facebook and attract hundreds of fans a day. That's not the case anymore. Now you can't get the organic traffic you once could. The algorithm has changed. Now you have to pay for ads to get the same kind of impact and the same visibility. That's a very different place to be than what it was years ago. And if you don't have a website, it means you don't get your business in front of potential customers without actually paying for traffic on social media. If you have a website, then you have lots more options, including being found naturally online, using SEO and all kinds of other things. But I can see almost you putting your hands over your eyes and your fingers in your ears. I know SEO sounds really scary, but actually it's really easy if you know how. Just putting a bit of time into finding out what will work for you, implementing it maybe for an hour a week, and you can have a massive impact. And the brilliant thing is it's all completely free. It's just going to cost you your time. But more about that in a minute. First of all, I want to talk about the importance of direct bookings. So as we know, direct bookings, this is where the gold lies. When guests book direct, maybe through your website or after finding you on social media, you can avoid the hefty commissions that are charged by online travel agents, also known as OTAs. This not only saves you money, but also gives you more control over the booking process, from setting your cancellation policies to upselling additional services that guests will really enjoy while they're staying with you. For example, if you run a dome tent site and your website can highlight unique things and personalized experiences, like maybe someone's coming along and they've got a birthday, or maybe it's part of their wedding honeymoon tour or something like that. So the OTA might not be able to showcase the additional services you provide, the breakfasts, the celebratory cakes, the champagne, the hot tub rentals, whatever it might be. But if you have your own website, you can build this into the buying process and you can communicate directly with your customer. But the OTA business model is built around the fact that they do not want you communicating with your customer. If they put them in touch with you, then they wouldn't be able to make their commission. So when you want to message your guests to see if they want added extras to make their stay amazing, or to make sure that they've got everything to get to you, they know exactly where to go, or maybe you're running a special offer and it won't be possible unless you get in touch with them soon for them to make the most of it. So you go out of your way to get their email while they're staying with you. But if they're coming through an OTA, you won't get their email until you ask for it. So if you want to stay in control of your guest communications and cost per guest, also known as your guest acquisition cost and lifetime customer value, then direct bookings is where you will get your most returns. So if you've been able to attract the guest via your website and it's working for you 24 hours a day and reducing your costs overall, then that's a great price to pay for making sure you're visible online and have your store window open for all to see. And a final point here is to remember that when you are showcasing your business on an OTA, you're actually sitting in amongst, surrounded by all your competitors. They're all there surrounding you, ready to take your guest from you to provide a distraction or anything else. The guests can easily make comparisons with others in your area, and with other clever marketing tactics, you suddenly might find that where you used to get lots of bookings through an OTA, you're not getting those bookings anymore. So yes, it definitely needs to be one tool in your toolbox, but don't rely on it as the only way to attract guests. You really need to be focusing on how you're getting your direct bookings too. So what about brand image and credibility? And is it really that important? Well, having a professional website builds credibility. We know that. And it really enforces your brand images. It enforces your story. People can see you there. They're more likely to see that you will deliver on your promise because you'll have testimonials. You can showcase your amazing stays and so much more. So when potential guests visit your website, they're greeted with your story, your values, your unique selling points of your property, where you are in the world, lots of information about your local area, things they can do, things they can eat, places they can stay, all kinds of stuff. This is something really hard to demonstrate through things like OTAs, as you become just another hospitality business for guests. And let's face it, you've only got a small amount of text, images and other bits of pockets of space to really make an impact to the audience who are looking on the online travel agent website. So imagine a guest choosing between two similar glamping businesses, one with a sleek, informative website and another with just a listing on an OTA. Well, there's no doubt that a well-presented website often wins because it brings a sense of trust. It's like when you get on an aeroplane, you pull down the little table on the seat in front of you, you're getting ready to eat your food, watch something on the television, and then you notice that there's all kinds of dirt everywhere. The table hasn't been wiped clean. The chair in front of you is a bit broken. The information leaflet in the chair pocket in front of you is ripped and has had grubby finger marks all over it. Well, you start thinking to yourself, well, if this aeroplane hasn't been able to clean everything and mend everything in the aeroplane, I wonder what the engine's like. Are we actually going to stay in the air? This is what it's like for your guests. They want to see everything, and your website is part of that. If they see that you've got a great website, fantastic pictures, all kinds of amazing services that you're talking about, and you've got guest reviews and testimonials and all that kind of good stuff, they're going to trust you more. They're going to say, this business means business. So this is the kind of business I'm happy to put my money towards. So during the pandemic, a few things happened. Many people had cancelled bookings because of lockdowns. Many businesses didn't offer a money back or rearrangement option and just cancelled bookings using in the contract the force majeure clause, which many people didn't realise about until the pandemic. It meant that they could cancel the booking and they didn't even need to give a refund. And of course, this stung a bit. And since this time, we've seen scammers increasing in alarming numbers, taking on the industry and saying they want to scam people by stealing images and descriptions from other bona fide businesses, setting up bogus hospitality businesses on the web and saying, book with us. So people book these, they turn up to nothing. there's a property that doesn't even exist or it's already booked out through the bona fide listing. So with all this and more, what happened with the pandemic and cancellations and now all this scamming and everything else going on, the customer is eroding trust when making payments for things online, especially in hospitality. It's something we as businesses really need to pay attention to. We really need to build the trust with our customer in order that they will make a purchase. So this is another reason why you need to be available in multiple places online, so the guest will feel confident about making their booking with you, and that every place they see you, whether that's on their social media or on their website, it helps to build trust. So this means it might be through an OTA or through a website with plenty of trust signals and testimonials and everything else, but all you need to do and keep in mind is it needs to be in multiple places so that you're really reassuring the customer every single time they look for your business. So what about SEO and local search visibility? First of all, we need to think about and talk about search engine optimization, also Google search, because these are big things that are changing in the world because of AI and the disruptional power of AI. It's really a crazy, crazy time. But there's no doubt that a well-optimized website can rank higher in search engines, driving organic traffic to your site, and it is free. It just costs the time. This is where understanding the difference between general SEO and a local SEO becomes really crucial. So when I'm talking about this, I'm really talking about the results in Google's search engine, because at the moment, this is the most popular way to search the web. So although other people use other methods, knowing what works best with Google is vital. So let's just talk about a bit of background first. So I've been supporting hospitality businesses to take charge of their own SEO for years. I show them what works, I show them why it works, and I show them what they can do to increase the number of eyes on their website content. As we know, this is a game of numbers, so it's important to get as many people on your website to get the traffic flowing, because you will only ever get a certain percentage of those people turning into customers. So where some people might say, oh, I get 1,000 people a day on my website, isn't that great? Well, it is great, but what's your conversion percentage into customers? So because of AI, I've been having a lot of questions thrown in my direction. Does SEO still work? What about Google AI search, and how will that impact my business? How can I compete even with the complexities of AI and SEO agencies? Well, let me explain a few things. It's really important to understand how to do SEO. Firstly, it's incredibly simple when you know how to do it. It takes time, but you can do it well and much more cheaply if you'll set your systems in place from the start, rather than pay thousands of dollars per month for an SEO agency. Unfortunately, many owners do what they think is SEO and just end up getting featured in all the wrong places on the web, where there's either no one that's there because there's no one looking for those search terms, or they're there but it's highly competitive. So there's no way that they'll be able to compete with everyone else. So they just get tumbleweed. They end up on page 10. And let's face it, if you're on page 10, no one's going to see you. And also, what about this question about what's Google AI search? Well, firstly, it's not called that. It's actually called Google AI Search and AI Overviews, but it's becoming increasingly sophisticated and it's being introduced on the web through Google. And of course, we're thinking about Google because it's one of the most popular search engines. So that's one we really need to be focused in on. So thinking about how you can get ranked on this search engine is so important. Making sure your website content is relevant and valuable, providing answers to potential guests is what Google wants to do. Essentially, all it wants to do is to provide an amazing environment for the users of Google and the users of the internet. And so it's looking for high quality stuff in high quality websites that are operating really well. So AI Overviews, it gives a summary of search topics directly on the search results page. So it crawls various sources to provide a quick answer that people are looking for, and it also provides traditional links so people could explore in those links. But people are getting a bit scared about this because they're thinking, well, surely that means people won't be clicking through to my website. Maybe. But then we've got generative AI search. So this is an ongoing effort to improve search using generative AI models, and it aims to understand your intent better as a user. So there's lots of different signals that tells Google exactly what you're looking for, and so that's what it aims to deliver. So whatever SEO you do, you need to consider both of these, because this is the way it's going to change the web in the future and Google's search engine, and the results, obviously, that your guests are getting when they're doing searches online. So some are even saying that SEO is dead, but that's not the case. And don't worry, it really isn't the case. So let me explain some more. General SEO focuses on broad keywords and phrases that might attract a global audience. So, for example, if I was to use the keywords glamping or best glamping vacations, cool, I bet you wish you'd be able to be ranked for that. But actually, no, it's not what you want to get ranked for. It's too general and it's probably highly competitive, and there's no way you'll be able to get ranked here, even though there's loads of traffic looking for those search terms. Even if you could get ranked, very few people looking for these search terms will be interested in your business because they live too far away, or they're traveling from different countries and they're not traveling into your area. So you'll get a lot of lovely clicks to your website, but your conversion rate will be tiny, a complete waste of time of your resources. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see businesses make. Instead, for a unique glamping business, local SEO is more critical. So this is when it targets certain keywords specific to your location, and this is what Google is looking for. It's making it very specific and it's making it very local. So my biggest tips here for this podcast, obviously if you want to come and speak to me, I can give you a heap more detail and guidance. But here for the podcast, firstly, you want to get into the head of your ideal customer. So what are they thinking about? What are they likely to put into Google search to be able to find you and what you offer? Then think about getting some support. It won't cost you a lot, but it could save you heaps of money in the long run. And of course, we'll make sure your website store window gets in front of your potential customer as they're wandering around the internet, which, let's face it, that's your high street. That's the place where people are hanging out and they're looking around, they're seeing what's on offer, and they see your store window and they come in and they think, I might just have a look around and see what they can offer me. But you need to be in the right place for the right person. Best of all, it will stop you putting your valuable time and money into something wrong if you get a bit of support. The worst thing that I find is when people come to me really despondent, they're really upset because they just cannot seem to get the traction they're looking for online. So it is possible, you just need to know how. And actually, quite frankly, you do not need to pay a very expensive SEO agency. You can do it all yourself, or you can get staff within your business already to help you with it. You just need to know how. So reach out if you need a little bit more help from me and I will give you some more detail. But until then, I will be covering this in my session at the Glamping Show in Colorado in October. So I hope you're going to be joining us there. Some people have already said it's like drinking from a fire hose when you go to the Glamping Show. There's so many things that you can get. Information about your business, so much good stuff. You really want to be attending this if you're serious about entering the glamping business industry and if you want to make an impact. It's all there for you, and you can collect everything within only a few short hours over a couple of days and make some amazing friends as you go and network with others and see all your different options. What's not to love? You've really got to attend the Glamping Show. And if you do this year, I'll see you there. I'm looking forward to it. But let's also carry on and talk about customer engagement and retention. Now, your website is a hub for customer engagement. So when you are publishing blogs or newsletters, please don't call it newsletters. People don't like it. And also when you're running special offers and you're trying to keep your guests interested in about what's new, this ongoing relationship encourages repeat bookings. Moreover, integrating a booking engine or a booking system with your website with a CRM can really help to personalize the experience of your customer. And it really makes your guests feel valued and more likely to return. After all, we know how great we feel when we turn up at a host where we've been before and they remember it's our birthday and they've given us a birthday card to celebrate. Oh my God, this is amazing. And everyone's wishing you happy birthday as you walk around their site. I mean, this is another level of customer service and it works really well. And you can manage it all from within your website. You'll never forget a thing about your guest. You'll be able to pick up the conversation and they'll just love it. They'll think you're amazing and they'll want to come back time and time again and they'll talk about you to all their friends and how amazing you are. Before you know it, you've got loads of lovely word of mouth advertising and it's brilliant. So as we know, a website is also the place that you can attract email signups so you can stay in touch with your existing customers or potential customers. Many people roll their eyes at me when I talk to them about this, but emails and list building, essential. It's another business asset that is a valuable business asset to you. And actually, a lot of businesses are valued based on how big and how engaged the email list is. So usually it goes along with, do I really need to do this? Do I really need to do an email list? And yes, you do. And I've got a fantastic story about how my website got hacked and I lost everything, and also potentially could have lost my social media engagement because they started trying to hack my social media. And you know what? Because I had my email list, I could change everything. I could upload everything. I could put everything back together again. And it was because of the email list that I survived that tricky time. I'll talk about this in more detail in another episode. But having your email list is perfect, not only for your business and keeping your business safe, but also staying in touch with your customers and building new customers when they haven't visited you yet. So one of the most important things about setting up a website now, today, obviously it's about knowing where you're going to get shown on the web, but it's about how it operates when you're on a mobile. So when I go about my business, I have to make quite a few bookings to stay in accommodation. Where I can, I stay in glamping, and sometimes I can't. I have to stay in a hotel depending on where I'm visiting. But one of the things that I've noticed is how different websites respond on mobiles. So some of them are horrifically bad and some of them are great. So everyone's on a mobile phone now. If you look at the data sitting behind websites, as I do, that you will see the majority of traffic, the majority of people coming to a website are on a mobile phone. And this is just increasing more and more. So what you don't want to do is have somebody in a situation when they're not able to make a purchase easily, or they feel that it's not working nicely, it's not smooth, so they lose trust in you as a business and they decide not to buy from you. So with this increasing use of smartphones and AI as well for travel planning and booking, a mobile-friendly website is crucial. And when I say crucial, I mean it can make or break a business. You need to give your potential guests a seamless experience, no matter what device they're using. And I cannot count the amount of times I've spoken to a glamping business owner and they haven't tested the buying process on their website. They haven't tested how it works on a browser, on a computer, on an iPad tablet, or any kind of tablet, on a smartphone, both Apple iPhones and also Android. What you need to do is set yourself up a coupon so that you're paying $1 per booking and just go through and keep booking and see what works and what doesn't, what you might need to tweak. But one of the other ways to understand how your website and how your mobile website is performing is to use your data and analytics. So Google Analytics 4 is what you should have on your website. And if you don't, oh my goodness me, get it on yesterday, please. It's super important. And yes, I might sound stern. I'm just trying to put the point across about how important it is for your business. It's so valuable, and the data and the analytics can help you understand your audience and your customers. But sometimes I find people haven't even set it up yet, or they have, but they haven't looked at it ever. Or maybe they look at it once a year, but they don't really know what they're looking at and they don't know what they're looking for. This tool is just incredible, and the data is gold, is absolute gold if you're thinking of refining your marketing, finding out what's working, what's not. It's also great to find out how people are using your website, what pages they like the most, what content they like the most. Then, when you find that out, you can hang out in those places even more, because it means you know exactly what's working for your ideal audience, your guest. And then you can retain them to become your repeat guest. And you can do this by sending out emails to your email list and then figuring out from your analytics who clicked through from your email list, who looked at what was the most popular thing, and doing that over and over again. At the end of the day, business is just one long list of experiments. You won't know what works until you try it out. You simply don't get this level of detail from any other tool. OTAs do not give you this kind of detail. And really, if you don't have your analytics set up, you're really missing out on some incredible information. In fact, analytics is so important. I'm going to deal with that in another episode too, so that you understand the kind of questions that are really important to ask if you are a glamping or unique hospitality business owner and you are trying to dive deep into the data to see what's working and what's not. So I'm going to deal with that at a future episode. So make sure you subscribe and I will be sure to share that with you. So the other thing I'd like to ask is, are you using Google Analytics or some kind of analytics on your website? Leave a comment here and tell me what's stopping you if you're not. But also, if you are, have you been diving into that data? What kind of things would you like to learn? What kind of things do you want to know? What questions do you have? There's so much gold to gain, and I'd really like to share it with you, but it's really helpful if you tell me what's important to you, and then I'll be able to give you the best information back. So as we know, the industry is getting really competitive. So how do you get your competitive advantage up? So in a crowded market, standing out is key, as we know. Unless we stand out, we're just ignored. Or we're not ignored, we're just not seen, we're not visible. So a well-designed website really helps your brand to stand out from the competition. And it allows you to showcase the unique aspects of your property, of you. You can tell your story, you can connect with your target audience on a deeper level, and you can connect with people who used to be your customer, and maybe you're hoping they might become a customer again. And I'm not talking about being competitive today or tomorrow, but what about over the next 10 years? Because after all, the competition is going to be growing, isn't it? As this industry gets more and more popular, which it is, the competition is increasing. So although we don't know what's going to happen, what I can tell you is I launched my business in the glamping industry in 2010. And from then onwards, my website has helped me tackle multiple financial meltdowns in the economy, a pandemic, an industry growing in competition, and business diversification. And I want you to have that benefit too. And a website is the vehicle that allows that to happen. So what do you think? Do hospitality businesses really need a website to get booking? Tell me what you think. Write in the comments, I'd really like to know, or get in touch through the Glamping Show and let me know. They'd absolutely love to hear from you. And also remember to come along in October, Colorado. Really fantastic show. So many things being showcased so you can see exactly what's hot and what's not in the industry. And we'll also be talking about so many other things there too. So all kinds of stuff, not just about how you can improve your business visibility, but it's also about repeat bookings, how you can get found more often, AI, all kinds of logistics and legal stuff around operating in the Americas. And the benefits make it a must-do for any business that wants to be taken seriously in this space. So that's all for today. I hope you found this useful. And if it's inspired you to do something amazing, please leave a review, write a comment, say hi. And remember, a strong online presence isn't just about keeping up with the times. It's also about setting your business up for long-term success in the digital age. So until next time, happy hosting.